Hello, and thank you so much for being with us on this Monday, September 8th. Hopefully everybody had a safe and happy weekend. I'm meteorologist Leah Pizzetti, and this is Weather Out West, the hour-long show where we showcase the latest on what's expected weather-wise across the western United States. You'll find forecasts from our meteorologists in Colorado, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, California, and Arizona. We start today in Portland, where showers and potential thunderstorms are moving through Oregon. Meteorologist Chris McGinnis is in Portland tracking the timing and impacts of those storms.
Hello, I'm meteorologist Chris McGinnis tracking some thunderstorms in the southern Willamette Valley early on this Monday morning. Eugene showing up with some lightning strikes being detected even farther south, down towards Cresswell and Point South along the I-5 corridor. And we think maybe a sign of things to come elsewhere in the Willamette Valley as we go over the next little while. In fact, a cell just popped up in eastern Linn County up in the Cascades. Our modeling is not doing a great job of picking up this leading edge of shower activity, but the storm center responsible for it is just offshore, and it is steadily churning in our direction towards the northern California coast, and eventually it'll take a track through northern California or south central Oregon. This is the general area where I think we're going to see the most consistent rain over the next 36 hours, but really anywhere up to like Olympia and Point South will have that shower chance. As you can see, this system continuing to kind of pinwheel onshore here and into southern Oregon. This is Futurecast at 11 o'clock. Our modeling, again, is a little late on depicting where and when the showers might be evolving, but it is indicating showers in the Cascades and showers in the central and southern Willamette Valley at 11 o'clock. So if we were to maybe bump this timeline up, an hour or two, that might be pretty indicative of what we can expect for the rest of the day. Interestingly, Futurecast does try to keep the Portland-Vancouver metro area dry through 4 o'clock, and I just think with all this rain, kind of encroaching on the area, that's a bit of a reach. So the shower threat, I'm going to say, increases around noon, and then as we go into the afternoon, we'll continue with that on and off shower threat through the remainder of the day. Futurecast at 10 o'clock, again, pinwheeling some showers through the region overnight tonight and into early tomorrow morning. As that low continues tracking into south central Oregon, we'll continue wrapping around bands of showers and even some thunder, especially south of Portland and especially across east central Oregon, not only for Monday, but Tuesday as well. All right, rainfall tallies, not overly impressive, but you can see the general trend here is less to the north and more to the south. Remember, I said the track of the low would be generally across south central Oregon, so no surprise that the areas that see the most repeated showers will see the heaviest rainfall amounts. But that's good to see these types of numbers in areas where we have ongoing wildfires like eastern Linn County and out across central Oregon as well. Modeling suggests Portland picks up maybe 0.15 to 0.2 of an inch of rain through the day on Wednesday. That's not all today. That's cumulatively over the next 3 days. All right, here we go with our forecast today. Again, we're dry for the morning, but as we get towards noon, with the instability increasing aloft or those showers to the south pushing our way, there's at least a chance that we could squeeze out a little bit of rain here between noon and 3, but I think the odds get even higher as we go into the late afternoon. So the tail end of our Monday afternoon commute is likely to be a little wet here in Portland. Daytime highs today obviously will be held down because of the increasing clouds and the shower threat. I've got us at about 76 for a high today. Southwest Washington up the I-5 corridor here. Temperatures in the upper 70s for you folks. Again, clouds increasing and the shower threat increasing throughout the day. The beach forecast gets wet, especially from the central and southern Oregon coast. The north coast may be the last in our viewing area to see rain. So Astoria and then getting up into like the Long Beach Peninsula may not see rain until tonight. The Southern Valley, of course, increasing clouds with a shower threat already knocking on the door south of the Corvallis area. In the Gorge, partly sunny with an increasing chance of showers late in the day. Still warm out towards the Dalles with temperatures in the mid-80s. And if there's an area in our viewing area that's going to see thunderstorms or hear thunderstorms, I would bet Central Oregon a good bet for some of that a little bit later on this afternoon as temperatures for you folks climb into the 80s. This is Futurecast later today. Pendleton about 85, Arlington getting up to about 87 degrees. Our 7-day forecast on and off wet, not terribly wet, but wet enough anyway for the first couple of days. Then we dry it out for Thursday and Friday.
Thank you, Chris. Some of those storms could move as far north as Washington as well. This is a big concern in the Northwest where lightning sparked multiple fires over the weekend, and that threat continues. Meteorologist Rich Marriott is in Seattle, keeping an eye on the potential for more lightning in Washington. these next few days.
Hi, I'm King 5 meteorologist Rich Marriott, and it felt like fall might be approaching a little bit this weekend. Things cooled off and we saw a few showers, not a whole lot. You can see out of the airport we got a big 2/2 of an inch of rain in the gauge. That was enough to dampen things down and maybe dampen some of the projects you had in mind to do outdoors yesterday. But temperature got pretty close to the normal high, hit 70 degrees as opposed to the normal of 74 degrees. But should be starting to feel a little bit like fall because we're exactly 14 days, 2 weeks from today, fall arrives officially, and we're going to have kind of this week some weather is kind of in between summer and fall with a mixture of clouds and sunshine and maybe a risk of a shower off and on, but not much of a risk at this point. Take a look out this morning. We have quite a few clouds around to start off the day, but we've been seeing the sun trying to peek out in places. There in Bellingham, it's been pretty consistently cloudy. You can see the sun trying to get out there in Everett right now, so it's kind of nicely lighting up the buildings there in the harbor. Checking the view there from our Tacoma Tower cam, you can see some breaks in the overcast as well. And we should see those grow a little bit as we head towards this afternoon. And out along the coast there at Westport, they've got a little bit of sunshine out in the distance, but overall we're looking for the coast to stay fairly cloudy through the day today. Checking that first alert 7-day forecast, we're going to continue to just be kind of brushed by things coming up from the southeast. I'll show you that in just a minute, but basically looking at a pattern with partly sunny skies. We'll see a chance of a few showers every afternoon up in the Cascades, and we might see an occasional chance for a shower in the lowlands, but overall they should be staying up in the mountains, it looks like. And those temperatures will flirt with pretty much close to normal temperatures, really between the low to mid 70s, which is only a couple degrees below normal overall. Take a look out at that satellite image. The problem is this upper level low sitting down here off of California. It's going to take it all the way till Friday to track up through through Oregon and then up and through near Boise there. And as it moves up there, you can see it's rotating this moisture up to us, and that's coming at us pretty much from the south-southeast. So it puts us on the dry side of the mountains compared to where we normally are. So we're looking for the showers, really the Cascade Crest eastward most of the time, but occasionally we may see a few of those kind of spill over, especially near the Cascade foothills, it looks like, as we head towards later on in the week. And overall, though, we're going to be looking for that to move on through with high pressure moving in as we head towards the end of the week, which will give us a little bit more sunshine and warm us back up. Good news in terms of air quality. If we check the computer model, the smoke model does show that we do have some light smoke haze around, but it stays pretty much in the light range. The only place we're really seeing concentrations is over there near the fires, which are basically east of the Cascade Crest. We're not seeing a whole lot of smoke from that Bear Gulch fire, fortunately, at this point. As a result of that, we're looking at pretty good air quality, good up and down the sound. Only one of the stations out towards the Cascades into the moderate range today, but you can see east of the Cascades a little bit worse over there, but it is gradually improving. In fact, we look at tomorrow, good air quality up and down the sound, it looks like, and then over on the east side of the Cascades, still seeing anywhere from moderate to unhealthy for sensitive groups, at least there in the foothills of the Cascades. Take a look at the mountains. If you're thinking about doing some hiking, not a bad day. You can get up above these low clouds that are sitting over us, and you can see there at Hurricane Ridge, pretty good looking day with the marine deck below you, and similarly there at Mount Rainier, a nice looking shot there. It's very inviting to get up there and do some hiking, but overall we're going to be looking for, at least through the pass, there might be a little fog this morning, then partly sunny skies. We'll see a slight chance of a shower or a thunderstorm this afternoon. That'll be primarily east of the Cascade Crest, with those temperatures this afternoon running mostly in the upper 60s, so not too bad. And then if you're heading up tomorrow, you see a better chance of seeing some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, so keep that in mind, though, especially once again largely to the east of the Cascade Crest, but we might even see a few scattered showers here on the west side in the lowlands as well. So checking that extended forecast for today, basically partly sunny. We'll see that chance of a few showers up in the Cascades this afternoon, especially east of the crest, and maybe an isolated thunderstorm. Highs today rebounding into the mid 70s. Tomorrow mostly cloudy. We could see a few showers in the lowlands and definitely some showers up in the Cascades, with highs cooling back to the low 70s. And basically partly sunny with showers in the Cascades for both Wednesday and Thursday. And then as we head towards the end of the week, we will be seeing that high pressure start to build in, and we still see a risk of some showers up in the Cascades, and temperatures will warm up a little bit into the mid 70s. As we wrap up the weekend, we continue in that pattern of partly sunny with some afternoon showers in the Cascades and highs over the weekend in the low to mid 70s.
Thanks, Rich. Still ahead after the break, we will stay in the Northwest, where bad air quality has been the theme of the weekend, but showers and a change in the weather pattern might bring some relief. Your forecasts for eastern Washington and Idaho are next. Welcome back. Wildfires and the impact on air quality have been a big focus in the Northwest. Let's go to Spokane, where an air quality alert is in place for a large part of the region. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick is watching that bad air quality, plus how rain chances play a role in relief for eastern Washington.
I'm meteorologist Thomas Patrick in Spokane, Washington. It has been a busy week of weather last week. This week looks quite a bit different. Cooler weather, clearer skies, and even rain chances that are going to come into play. So those are the weather headlines that we track immediately starting this Monday. But we are still monitoring the air quality here because while it looks pretty nice right now, wasn't always that way, and it might not still be that way for some regions. Honestly, take a look at the full moon from this past weekend, and you could tell the difference because, well, back on Sunday morning, the full moon really having that like rustic orange look to it because of the wildfire smoke, not because it was the lunar eclipse. We unfortunately missed that, being in North America, visible on the other hemisphere of the Earth. But this morning, a lot clearer view of that harvest moon as the skies have really cleared out across Spokane County. But air quality alerts are still in effect because, well, the fires are local to eastern Washington. There's about 6 fires burning in Ferry and Stevens County, and because they are active, they're producing smoke at minimum for the local regions in those 2 counties. But if the wind carries that smoke anywhere else, the air quality is going to be affected immediately as a result of that. So we are still monitoring that kind of day part by day part here. Today, though, it looks like the smoke is going to be mostly contained over northeastern Washington and maybe the farthest northern Idaho locations, but Spokane's looking a lot better today, and even the air quality has improved all the way into the moderate category as opposed to unhealthy where it was from this past weekend. Now, by Tuesday evening, this does start to change as that smoke and haze starts to back build into North Idaho and eastern Washington, so we'll see if that does affect the air quality, but looks like for about 24 hours, Spokane is looking better, but it's not the case in northeastern Washington. High temperatures much lower today compared to all of last week. Remember, we almost hit 100 degrees. Still warm, still about 5 degrees above average, but way more tolerable and comfortable compared to this past week and that first week of September, with a high of just 82 in Spokane, 83 in Coeur d'Alene, and also about 83 in Pullman. So if you're heading to the Spokane County Interstate Fair, out of the first 4 days, today is looking like one of the best overall. Again, temperatures more comfortable, skies more clear, no rain chances just yet. Pretty much an easy-going fair day if Monday takes you out towards the fair. So while skies are mostly clear at the moment, the clouds will gently build in from the south, and then will come our rain chances. All of it is scattered, meaning it'll be hit and miss. Nothing widespread in the works just yet. Once we get to that first widespread rain of September, it's usually what we call the season-ending event, which more permanently shifts us from summer into fall. But that's not quite the case for this week, even though our temperatures are a little bit cooler. So this is Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. You see just a light scattering of some showers. In this case, it's mainly over central Washington. Different computer models show it in slightly different locations, but realize that the first rain chances will be near Spokane at around midnight tonight and then there afterwards. So Tuesday morning, an okay chance for some of those hit and miss scattered showers. Thursday, a slightly better chance, up to 50%, but notice that the percentages are no better than that day after day. But really looking at this Tuesday through Friday, about 20 to 40 or 50% chance for rain a day, meaning that this is all going to be scattered at most. So it probably rains 1 or 2 out of these 4 days in total. So mostly light rain, but it will keep those temperatures hopefully in check in the 80s and 70s.
Thanks, Thomas. It's a similar pattern in nearby Idaho. Bad air quality remains a focus, but rain is also moving in there. Let's go now to Hector Mendoza in Boise, who is keeping an eye on those showers.
Hello, my name is Hector Mendoza, forecasting out of Boise, Idaho. Here we have seen some beautiful sunset photos posted on our Idaho Weather Watchers Facebook page. And here Holly sent us this one of the beautiful sunset there in Soda Springs. You could see all of those yellows and oranges and darker reds that we're seeing in some of that. And we're seeing that through the clouds. It looks a little ominous there because of some of the storms we had over the weekend. Here's another view here that she had, and you can look off into the distance and again see some of those colors. And that continued as we had a beautiful sunset. Now, the other thing that we had over the weekend was that full moon there, that corn moon that was able to be seen, and we saw plenty of photos here, and this was just the one that we got sent from Laura here, where you can see the light from that moon reflected off the water. An absolutely gorgeous photo. So we thank Lauren for posting that on our Idaho Weather Watchers Facebook page. And it's been a pretty beautiful morning here as we look at Skycam 7. Pretty comfortable temperatures. We've started off into those low 60s, upper 50s for many spots in the Treasure Valley, and we're going to expect to see a lot more of that sunshine through the rest of the day today. The one thing we did contend though with as we got into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this past weekend was a lot more of that wildfire smoke that we saw. Not expecting much of that into the rest of the day today. Could see some hazier conditions as we look through the next couple of afternoons there in places near Cascade and also in areas here up north there from Twin Falls. We'll continue to keep an eye on that, but not expecting those really harsh, hazy conditions and that diminishing air quality that we saw here in the Treasure Valley over the next couple of days. Now, the things that we are paying attention to is the warm and dry start that we have for today before switching on over to cooler temperatures and some showers that come along towards the middle of the week. And then as we look at these upper 80s, it looks likely that we don't see much of that into the extended forecast here. So summer looks like it's good and gone as we get and talk about some of those temperatures as we still have till the 22nd of September as that fall equinox makes its way through. But here's that system that's going to bring us some of those showers as we get towards the middle of the week, as we see those cool downs and scattered showers there, and it continues to stay and turns its wheels there as we look on into the coast of Northern California. That will continue pumping in moisture closer into Oregon, and then it'll slowly start to move on over as the system makes its way inland, and that's what we're going to be paying attention to. So as we look at this future cast, we'll see it fast forward all the way through Tuesday, where we see it make its way inland. Then it starts to make its way in through our area, and we can see that continue to bring us those shower chances Wednesday into Thursday. It starts to weaken as we get on into Friday, so we see a little bit of a relief from some of those showers, even though it's very much needed here as we have lots of wildfires that come along. We are also expecting to see some of those breezier conditions come on through with some of those storms, and then we get on into Saturday, and then in between that system we see another one that we start to see that brings us some shower chances again on into Sunday. But here are going to be the impacts as they stay low, as here in the Treasure Valley, not really expecting that to impact outdoor activities, but still have that umbrella handy and make sure to dress appropriately, as we could have some showers that could come along and some thunderstorms that could start to roll their way through into our neck of the woods here in the Treasure Valley and other spots. But as we look up into the mountains, that's where we're expecting a bulk of that moisture to come along there Wednesday into Thursday, and then we'll continue to see those chances all the way through Saturday and even extending on into Sunday, as we expect the next couple of days to stay pretty unsettled here in portions of southwest Idaho. So we look at the 7-day forecast here in the mountains. We'll continue to see those thunderstorm chances all the way through Thursday, then diminish and climb up just a bit in terms of temperatures there into the low 70s. And as we look here at the 7-day forecast in Boise, expecting those upper 80s for today, down into the mid 70s for Wednesday and Thursday, and then we'll continue unsettled all the way through Friday, getting a bit of a break between those two systems, and then seeing temperatures climb back up to the upper 70s by the time we get to Sunday.
Thank you, Hector. So those thunderstorms are a widespread issue across the Northwest, and that's not the only area. Still ahead, we move south to California, where our team of meteorologists are watching lightning-sparked fires in the Golden State and incoming rain there as well. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Weather Out West. Fall is technically still 2 weeks away, but for many of us, the rain makes it feel like it's here now. Meteorologist Rob Carlmark is in Sacramento watching the multiple rounds of rain arriving in Northern California.
Hello, I'm meteorologist Rob Carlmark here in Northern California, and we've been through a bunch over the last week or so. Last week we saw the hottest temperatures of the year so far, 103 degrees. Then we saw some very random valley showers, thunderstorms with some fire starts due to dry lightning. Also some really gusty and damaging wind, and then things leveled off. And it's been a nice weekend so far. But now we turn the page and it's here on Monday, and we're going to have just a different weather story, and I think one that people will like, and then one that people will sort of have to plan around just a tiny little bit. So starting off this week on a Monday, we've got some coastal early morning fog that's going to burn off. That's a very normal thing. In the valley spots, we're looking at temperatures in the mid to lower 80s. Now around here, that is warm, but that's a nice sense of early fall. Fall in Northern California tends to be pretty warm in the beginning, and then it starts to level off fairly quickly, and we get to much better temperatures. As you can see over the last week or so, we've kind of been through everything. Hot weather to start things off, then it cooled off for the weekend. That 87 on Sunday looks nice on paper, but out doing things with the lack of wind, if you're in direct sunshine, it definitely felt hot out there. But we are in a cooling trend. We're looking at mid to low 80s today, low 80s for Tuesday, Wednesday with rain chances, and then we're going to start to see another run up to some warm to hot weather by this weekend going into next week. You know, that's kind of how it goes. We're not into fall yet. We're still technically in summer. We've got 2 weeks till the first official day of fall. And like I mentioned, you know, early fall still tends to be pretty warm out there. The average high on September 22nd is in the upper 80s. As far as our fire season has gone, you know, it's been actually not too bad. We've seen some updated numbers. We're still about on par with what we saw last year, way better than our 5-year average. And the lightning-caused fires that we saw last week, you know, it was a problem. We saw some damage, we saw some burned structures, but as far as total acreage goes, they were very much on the small side, and many of them, there were dozens of fires started by lightning. Many of them were knocked out within the first couple of hours or so. We still have this lingering stubborn fire near Yosemite National Park. It's called the Garnet Fire. It's burned more than 40,000 acres, and you know, we've made a lot of containment on it. It's not completely out, but it's still just a stubborn area of smoky haze that's been going around for a while. Going forward, you could see some overnight cameras showing nice clear skies, just a little bit of haze out there. And our big reservoirs and lakes are still in really good shape. I know these numbers may seem low, but every single summer since it doesn't rain, we lose water due to evaporation and hot temperatures, and also due to water use. That's why we have the reservoirs for water use and recreation in the summer. Okay, here's our weather change right here. This does not look like much. It's an area of low pressure. It's got a little bit of rain to us, but it tells the story. We're going to have multiple rounds of these areas of low pressure sweeping through, and mostly what we're looking at is rain chances for far northern California today on our Monday, and then we're going to see that start to drift to give us very small chances of light rain on Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon in the valley spots and the higher terrain. So it is not much. If it happens, we're talking about a couple drops on your windshield, maybe a little bit more than that, and then it's going to be moving along. But it is part of the story of us cooling down. We've got 70s for the foothills today, 80s for the edges of the valley. Near Yosemite National Park, we could technically get a random shower or so today, but really it's all about the cooling conditions. When you see green and orange on the screen, that tells you the good story that more mild and nice temperatures are moving in, and we're in really good shape. So overall, I like where we're going because it's been a long, hot summer for many of us, and those rain chances, again, for most valley spots are going to be on the light side. After this, we start to warm up quickly.
Okay, summer may not be done yet. Thanks, Rob. One of the few places not watching any rain chances is Southern California. That low that a couple of our meteorologists have talked about is staying just north enough to keep places like San Diego dry. Meteorologist Vanessa Paz is watching the sunshine in San Diego.
Well, happy Monday. Hope you all had a lovely weekend. I'm CBS 8 meteorologist Vanessa Paz. Here's what it looked like. Can't complain. This was the view earlier this morning from one of our coastal cameras. We are expecting to see a little more cloud coverage in the mix due to the return of onshore flow in the coming days. As we take a look, I wanted to highlight first a photo that was submitted by one of our weather watchers. This is from Don Beadog of our cumulus clouds. This has been a very familiar view that we've been seeing over the past several days due to that monsoon of moisture ushering in clouds and thunderstorms and even some shower activity when it came to the county's eastern half. Looking ahead, though, we do have changes on the way as we kick off a new work week. Tomorrow is our transition day into a much cooler and drier pattern. So, yes, we have been experiencing muggy monsoonal flow over the past several weeks. And finally, people in San Diego are going to get a little bit of a break. So here's what we can expect as we kick off a new work week. Today will be another warm and muggy day. And then tomorrow we transition into a much cooler and drier pattern with noticeable cooling across especially the interior parts of the county. And we will have increasing onshore flow. An area of low pressure is going to enhance those winds out of the west blowing towards the east. And that's also going to beef up cloud coverage in the form of low-level clouds at times with the potential of squeezing out some light drizzle and heavy mist. We are also looking at breezy conditions as well, especially for the mountains as well as the desert areas. So here's what I have on tap for today. Slightly cooler. We'll top out close to 80 degrees for a lot of those coastal areas. The inland and mountains will produce highs in the low 90s and high 80s, and the desert areas will hit triple digits and low hundreds for areas like Borrego Springs as well as Ocotillo Wells. Tonight is going to be fairly mild, especially for those areas that hug the immediate coast. We move a little more towards the inland areas and we're looking at much cooler conditions. We'll drop down to the low 60s tonight for spots like Escondido, mid 50s in Ramona, and we'll drop into the high 50s for Julian. Meanwhile, mid 70s overnight for our desert communities. So that ridge of high pressure is going to eventually weaken, allowing for this trough of low pressure to kind of be our next weather maker over the next several days that will enhance onshore flow and also in much cooler conditions. In comparison to our 30-year average, tomorrow's highs are going to be anywhere between 3 to nearly 10 degrees cooler. I'm forecasting highs in the mid 70s for spots like downtown Chula Vista as well as Vista, and we'll hit highs in the low 80s for El Cajon as well as Ramona, mid 70s in Palomar Mountain, and we'll shoot close to 100 degrees in Borrego Springs. The chance for rain in our mountain areas, it was quite high over the past several weeks. Not the case as we kick off this week. In fact, the chances slim to none all the way through the weekend. For the coastal and inland valleys, here's what you can expect over the next 7 days. Not only are the days going to feel a lot cooler, but also the nights. I mean, we have been dealing with very mild evenings, overnight lows in the high 60s, and will eventually drop down to the mid 60s when it comes to those evening and early morning hours. Daytime highs by tomorrow are going to be noticeably cooler. I mean, we are going to shoot down to the low 70s for much of the coastal and beach neighborhoods. For the inland valleys, we have been seeing mostly 90s over the past few days, and most of the inland neighborhoods are now going to trend in the low 80s, and then we'll eventually drop off into the high 70s by the time we get to the middle of the week. So we're looking at really nice conditions in store. Even when we look ahead to the evening, it may feel a little more fall-like, which is fitting because we are inching towards the end of summer. For the mountain areas, we'll also have some relief there. We'll go from the low 80s to the mid 70s by the time we get to the middle of the week. And take a look at those overnight lows. It's going to be rather cool, something to keep in mind if you are spending any time in the mountain areas. High 90s on tap for tomorrow, and then we're down to the low 90s by the time we get to Wednesday, Thursday, all the way through the weekend.
Thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, everybody's dropping the F word in, fall. Everyone is saying conditions are fall-like, but don't forget, everybody, we still have 2 more weeks of summer. The fall autumnal equinox is September 22nd of this year, so 2 weeks from today, I believe. Still ahead after the break, we'll head inland to Denver and Phoenix. Plus, later on, did you see the full moon last night? If not, details for viewing for tonight, and what will make the rest of the full moons of 2025 extra special. Those details coming up straight ahead. Welcome back to Weather Out West. Conditions in Colorado are trending cooler as well. Our team in Denver is tracking rain chances and takes a deep dive into what we mean when we talk about rain potential in forecasting.
Hey, it's meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen from the 9 News Weather Impact Team in Denver, Colorado, looking at the forecast for the Front Range. Coming up here as we get into the week, we're going to have much warmer conditions. We've had our coolest start for 7 days of September in Denver in the last 11 years. But we are going to start to warm things up. This is the forecast for Monday, getting the temperatures up in the upper 80s, maybe a few 90s, some sunshine in the mountains and foothills with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Our rain chances have been limited lately, and they will stay that way as that monsoon moisture is just not making it around that ridge of high pressure in Colorado. Our rain chances sitting at about 15% in the middle of the afternoon hours, maybe early evening. We can catch a shower, show you futurecast here. This is modeling. Sunny skies through most of the day. Clouds come in a little afternoon. We'll get these rain showers. Look at the characterization of these showers. Just very limited, isolated, light and fast moving. So not a lot of us are going to actually get any measurable precipitation out of this on Monday, and that's going to stay the theme as we look at our smoke forecast. That is the one thing that the flow of this air is doing. So all that smoke, a lot of the country's been affected by these fires up in the Pacific Northwest and British Columbia. We'll start to get that pushed out of the way a little bit here. So going into the day Monday, we could see a little bit of that heavier smoke from Denver out to the Northeast Plains, but Tuesday looks like it'll go around the ridge of high pressure and we'll have some pretty decent conditions. So we'll stay warm for 4 days under this ridge of high pressure. Low pressure is starting to move in here, and the way that's going to affect Colorado is just going to slightly cool our temperatures just a little bit. And that will start on Friday. If you look at the 7-day forecast here in Denver, a little bit cooler starting on Friday, and we'll have 70s and 80s with limited precipitation going for the next several days.
A warmer and drier weather pattern will be settling into the state this week, but the impact, we could be seeing isolated thunderstorms today through Wednesday, few and far between. But I did get a note from Jim, and he asked me, Katie, what does the percentage mean when we're talking about the chance for seeing storms and showers? So is it a threat that a percentage of the metro area will see storms, or does it have to do with how much rain we're expecting? It's a little bit of a combination. So it's really just where we're expecting to get that measurable rain. The percentage really indicates the possibilities. So we're talking a 10 to 15% chance today that your neighborhood, this really does include the Denver area where we put the percentage on the 7-day forecast that you see, that 15% today will indicate we have just that slight possibility of precipitation in your neck of the woods. So our rain chances for this Monday, you can see really moving up as we get into after 1 o'clock, about a 15% possibility right around 5 p.m., but that isn't much. When we're talking higher rain chances, that's where we have more widespread precipitation rolling into the state. You can see from our rainfall forecast trace amounts, if any, expected with storms and showers that do form. The mountains, though, later on today could see a cell or two capable of producing around 1/10 of an inch of rain, but this is not a super soak or washout kind of weather pattern by any means. So here's those percentages on our 7-day forecast for today, tomorrow, and on Wednesday. Just a slight possibility. So that means most areas will stay dry, with just the exception of a few storms and brief showers, not a lot of rainfall. But as we get into the end of the week, as you can see, we'll up that chance of seeing storms and showers, a little more moisture set to roll into Colorado with our next front rolling in. That'll also drop our temperatures back to more seasonal conditions. So overall, enjoy the warmer, drier weather pattern that we're expecting, with just a few of those isolated sprinkles expected in spots later on today through at least Wednesday.
Thank you. And to elaborate on what Katie said, here's a little fun fact for you. We call that our POP. It is probability of precipitation. That's the percentage. And it is just that. It's a probability, just like Katie was saying. So on days exactly like today, is it 15 out of 100 times that it rained, or 100 out of 100 times that we would see rain? So it's a probability, and all it is just measurable rain. We don't have to see an inch of rain. All it is what is the probability of seeing measurable rain, which is 1/100th of an inch of rain. It does not, when we talk about that POP and that percentage, it's not necessarily how much rain, it's the probability of any rain at all, which is 1/100th of an inch of rain. All right, off my soapbox. While Arizona is drying out, the state is also warming up. Meteorologist Ginger Jeffries joins us now from Phoenix with A look at the lingering triple digits in the final few weeks of summer.
I'm meteorologist Ginger Jeffries. A look at your weather out west across Arizona, where we are switching gears this week. Last week, we had so much monsoon moisture, saw dust storms, saw measurable rainfall, even had to deal with some flooding in some higher elevations. This week, well, all that monsoon moisture that brought us incredible shots like this, it is going to really stay sectioned off to very small portions of Arizona. The rest of us will start to dry out, and that also means, yeah, we're going to be warming up a little bit. Now, all in all, I mean, it's still officially summer, so anything goes for us. And instead, we're seeing temperatures that are pretty close to where we should be this time of the year. 103, our average high for Phoenix. We're going to nudge that just slightly. But remember, anything within 5 degrees of our normal temperature is considered pretty average weather for the region. So that's what we're looking at today. An average day across Arizona with 79 today in Flagstaff. Nice clear skies in Havasu at 106. I've got 105 today in Yuma, right at the century mark in Tucson, and 83 in Show Low. So as we look ahead, now this is pretty interesting. Temperatures are going to warm slightly. Again, not talking about record heat. We're not talking about the 110s, what we had to deal with a lot in summer, September of last year. But instead, I'm talking about temperatures that are coming down. We're falling below the century mark this week, and we don't have active monsoons. So now we got to start the discussion. How long are we going to be dealing with these triple digits? Well, understand our average triple digit reading usually comes around October 5th. So we still have a good month of triple digits. But again, anything hovering around 100, not bad in my book. And the latest we've ever seen triple digit heat is October 27th of 2016. Gauging from how this summer has been, we are not going to challenge that number. As far as the monsoon goes, I mentioned it's really going to be just kind of quartered off. We're going to see a little bit of activity around southeast Arizona. The rest of us really taking the day off. That includes northern Arizona and the rim. Zeros on the board. The reason for that? High pressure keeping us nice and dry. It works in that clockwise rotation, so even though more moisture being fed up, that is well to the east of us. We'll begin to see a new weather pattern emerging, and here is why we're going to cool down as we get into the next 5 days. We've got this area of low pressure drawing some cooler air off the coastline. Most importantly, that's feeding in a cool wind. So we are going to have the winds change this week. These winds are coming to us from the coastline, which means it's going to be cooler, but again, it's going to be windy. Today, the call, sunny and dry. I've got your daytime highs pushing up to 104 degrees. We're going to be bringing those dew points down once again, so it truly will be a dry heat. And look at this, our normal range, as I mentioned, 103, the record's 110. So thankfully, we are airing closer on the side of our average temperature, which again, for the desert, for summer, not too bad. This is the way it's going to break down. In fact, we aren't seeing triple digits until after the noon hour. Still looking to peak after 2 o'clock, closer to the 4 o'clock hour. So limit that outdoor exposure, especially between about 2 to 6. Now, as far as our seasons go, our temperatures this year, this meteorological summer, rank as the 4th hottest on record. So again, it's been warm, but it's been closer to average versus further than average. As far as tonight, we're going to be mostly clear. Temperatures dropping down to about 85 degrees. And looking ahead, 7-day forecast shows there's the wind element I'm talking about. Middle part of the work week, we've got a slight chance at some moisture developing in the higher elevations. Otherwise, this cool wind is really going to bring down the mercury again. Seeing sub-century mark highs for the valley on Friday and Saturday. Until that time, look for the warmest day of the week to be on Tuesday with highs at 105.
Summer and triple digits are still hanging on in Arizona. Still ahead after the break, we'll take a check on the national forecast. Stay with us. Welcome back. We've hit the weather out west. Now let's take a look at the big picture. Meteorologist Julie Martin joins us now with the national forecast.
For your Monday, we will be seeing cool, chilly conditions across much of the eastern half of the U.S. Some severe storms possible in the central plains and looking at some rain moving into the northwest. Our forecast highs for today look like this. We are looking at 70s. From Minneapolis all the way down to Indiana, you'll notice this cool pocket really stretching all the way up into New England. Buffalo, you're not going to be out of the 60s today. We'll see slightly warmer temperatures once we get into the mid-Atlantic. DC here at 76, as well as Norfolk. Charlotte, Atlanta, you'll be in the high 70s to around 80 degrees, so definitely below average this time of year. And the hot spot in Tampa right now at 86 degrees. You're going to get plenty of rainfall across Florida, also especially central Florida. Even a bit cooler as we head into Texas here. We've got the 80s and 90s coming in. Really the big hot spot, Phoenix, of course, at 104, but very comfortable weather all up and down the west coast with the 70s in our forecast. Here's our national radar satellite imagery, and we are looking at this particular area here across the central U.S. coming in through Kansas. This is where we could see some of those storms fire up. Already seeing some clusters right along this little bit of a line here. So we'll watch for that, especially this afternoon into this evening in Kansas into the Texas Panhandle. Other than that, though, much of the action is really offshore and very quiet across the U.S. Don't really have any watches or warnings other than some of those at sea. So looking good there. Now our severe weather threat looks like this for your Monday. There's our bullseye right there. We're at a level 2, so a slight risk in yellow that will go for Kansas, portions of the Oklahoma Panhandle, as well as the Texas Panhandle. Hail damaging winds, lightning, maybe even a couple of tornadoes, not out of the question. So we'll keep an eye on that as we head throughout the remainder of your Monday. All right, let's take you coast to coast now, taking a look at the west to start things off. Seattle, you'll be in the 70s, some rain coming your way on Tuesday. Portland, you'll see the rainy conditions with the 70s as well, and then we'll get that into the 80s once we get into the interior northwest. Sacramento, you'll be in the 80s with some rain coming in starting tomorrow. Beautiful weather there in San Diego, the hot spot there in Phoenix. Dallas topping out in the 80s. Texas also looking at temperatures right around 90 degrees, so a bit cooler than average. A bit cooler across the deep south as well with the 80s from Little Rock to Atlanta all the way into New Orleans, warming up to 90 though by midweek. All right, the Mid-South also looking very cool to start off this Monday. Memphis, your high 82 degrees. You'll be warming up by midweek. That goes for you there in St. Louis. Louisville, you'll be on the cooler side as well as Charlotte. And then really cool conditions all across the Great Lakes region. We've got those low 70s, high 60s in play, and that goes for you here in New England as well. Very cool weather setting up there.
Thanks, Julie. Let's talk about Hurricane Kiko. We've been keeping an eye on Hurricane Kiko since last week. Kiko is still a Category 1 hurricane. Let's show you where Kiko is right now and where Kiko is headed the next couple of days. So we're talking about the Pacific here. A closer look, you can see Hawaii is just south of that track. So Kiko right now is still a Category 1 hurricane with current sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. And as long as Kiko maintains sustained winds at least 74 miles per hour, Kiko will stay put as a Category 1 hurricane. But after dropping below that 74 mile per hour threshold, Kiko will be downgraded to a tropical cyclone, which we are expecting here in the next really day or so. Kiko will remain as a tropical storm as long as winds stay above 39 miles per hour, which the current track you're looking at right here shows will be the case through this entire week. So Kiko will stay as a tropical storm. That track keeps Kiko staying just north of Hawaii, but surf is expected to increase in Hawaii, especially on the north and east sides of the islands. A tropical storm warning is in place for Hawaii right now. That's expected to last through Wednesday. Life-threatening surf and rip currents are expected through at least midweek for Hawaii. So we will continue to keep an eye on Hurricane Kiko and how Kiko impacts the great state of Hawaii. We have more to come. We're talking about full moons. If you missed the view last night, I'm going to have a check of details for viewing as we head into the next couple of days and some fun facts for you. The rest of the full moons for the remainder of 2025 are going to be extra special. We'll have details after the break. Finally today, did you see it last night? The moon is full. We saw some pictures from Thomas and Hector, from Spokane and Boise. If you missed it, it will still appear full this evening. It's about 99% full. Moonrise is right around sunset in Seattle. That's a little after 7:30 this evening. All the way down in San Diego, it's about a half an hour earlier than that. But sunset for down in San Diego will be just after 7 p.m. tonight. So in that 7 o'clock hour, the sun will set. We'll get that moonrise. Fun fact, the next 3 moons are supermoons. Those will take place October 6th, November 5th, and December 4th. A supermoon is when the moon passes closer to Earth than usual, making the Earth appear bigger and brighter. It can look 14% bigger and 30% brighter. Fun facts for you, the moon has a 27-day rotation around Earth. We only see a supermoon 3 to 4 times a month, and it's always consecutive, so these next 3 full moons, we'll check that box. All right, that does it for us here on Weather Out West. Thanks for being with us today. Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow.